member of many coalitions, Muslim American Civil Liberties Coalition and New York State Interfaith Network for Immigration Reform. It is as coalition members that we are here today. It was only 2 weeks ago that we were here protesting the spread of Islamophobia in NYPD training. Then after that, there was the press conference for 100 imams speaking out against terrorism. And here, again, we are together protesting the spread of Islamophobia and wrong ideas about immigration and immigrant communities, this time in the New York State Senate. We were found out less than a week ago that this hearing was going to include some really virulently Islamophobic and anti-immigrant speakers, and we're really shocked. And we were able to bring together this coalition representing hundreds of groups. We have about 100 signers of our statement, but some of the signers are coalitions which have hundreds of organizational members, and we have many leading civil society groups here, as well as elected officials joining us. And so I wanted to just add that this issue of Islamophobia is a very serious one, adding to the ongoing challenge of dysfunction and cronyism in Albany. We now see the opportunistic promotion of Islamophobia as a new form of divisive politics, and harsh anti-immigrant views are distracting the public from the economic crisis that threatens shutdown of government funding for essential services, as well as preparedness issues and questions about Indian Point nuclear reactor so close to our city. Instead of discussing these important issues, we see the insertion of anti-Islam and anti-immigrant speakers into the Homeland Security Committee meeting of the New York State Senate. Committee Chair Greg Ball seems largely unrepentant, and today in the New York Times we see that he is calling our response a form of political correctness. No, we're not here for whining, and we're not here for political correctness. We're very willing and ready to engage on the important questions, but we want our elected officials to do a lot better. We expect them to show much better judgment in their choice of speakers and in the information that's used to guide our public policy. As our speakers today, which will include a lot of leaders of civil society and diverse groups, will all make clear that our immigrant and Muslim communities are ready for partnership and ready to be part of the solution and not the problem. We are your neighbors, friends, family, co-workers. We are part of New York too, and we are, on that note, I wanted to invite the first speaker, who is she is the Executive Director of Common Cause New York and representing New York Neighbors for American Values.
Hi, thank you, Adam. I'm Susan Lerner. New York Neighbors for American Values is a coalition of over 150 groups which came together last summer to affirm our commitment to the diversity and the vibrant life of our city, and to oppose efforts to sensationalize and to demonize and to promote Islamophobia. Our concern, and my concern as the head of a good government group, is that the topic of tomorrow's hearing is an absolutely essential and appropriate topic, the right topic for government oversight at all levels of government. We as New Yorkers have a real investment in being sure that our state is properly prepared, that the city is using resources efficiently and effectively. But when the agenda of the hearing goes off the tracks, it becomes a distraction. And when speakers of questionable credentials are given 30 minutes to talk about irrelevant topics, and important topics like preparedness for nuclear disaster at the Indian Point nuclear plant, or the question of appropriate communications among all of the uniformed services here in New York City is given short shrift for 15 to 20 minutes, we question how effective this hearing is going to be. We don't need a distraction. We need efficient, effective government not fear-mongering, and we call on Senator Ball and the other members of the committee to refocus this committee hearing on what needs to be discussed, which are the very real concerns that New Yorkers have about genuine preparedness. Thank you.
The next speaker that we have is Betsy Palmieri of the Hudson Valley Community Coalition, who is a constituent of State Senator Greg Ball.
Hi, my name is Betsy Palmieri, and I'm very proud to represent the Hudson Valley Community Coalition and the New York State Interfaith Network for Immigration Reform and the New York Immigration Coalition. But more importantly, I'm here as a Christian to stand with my Muslim and Jewish brothers and sisters. I'm here as a mother, a daughter, and a wife who wants to live in a safe community. Now, we are all here today not to protest Homeland Security hearings. Good government demands that public hearings on threats to our safety and well-being be held. But we are here to say that the way Senator Ball has set up these hearings with anti-Muslim and anti-immigrant speakers is wrong. 10 years ago, after the world-changing tragedy on 9/11, New Yorkers of every race, religion, and ethnic background came together as one to comfort each other and to help each other heal. In my community in Westchester County, people are still working together. We're working on making better relationships with our law enforcement. We're holding interfaith services to worship together. Immigrants and the native-born are getting to know each other as neighbors and friends. And that, Senator Ball, is what makes us safer. We will not let you divide us. We are New Yorkers. And we know un otro mundo es posible.
And I note that State Senator Ball, his district is dealing with demographic changes, but the way to deal with it is to confront it together in positive ways, in partnership, and not fear-mongering, as was said. State Senator Ball has called various pro-immigrant legislation. He's trying to actually change the name in, I believe, to Terrorist Support Act or something like that. His rhetoric against immigrants is extremely harsh, something that is unacceptable. The rhetoric against Islam is also harsh. I wanted to now introduce Ziad Ramadan from the board of Council of American Islamic Relations, CAIR, New York.
Thank you, Adam. Benjamin Franklin referred to our nation as the Great Experiment, meaning a country where people of all nations, creeds, and religions can come to America and live under one law, one standard called the U.S. Constitution. Except for Native Americans, we're all immigrants. Yes, even you and I, Senator Ball. Senator Ball's Homeland Security Committee hearings tomorrow take target on Islam, Muslims, and immigrants by inviting anti-Muslim speakers such as Noni Darwish. I debated Ms. Darwish on TV, and having her speak on the topic of Sharia law, where she has no expertise, is akin to having the KKK speak on affirmative action. Being an ex-Muslim doesn't make you an expert on Islam. Our hard-spent tax dollars should not be wasted to bring someone bent on demonizing world religions and hard-working immigrants and fellow Americans. We call on Senator Ball to bring real experts, such as the world's foremost expert on terrorism, Robert Pape of the University of Chicago, experts on Islam and Sharia law, such as Dr. John Esposito of Georgetown and Dr. Sherman Jackson of the University of Michigan. This is not about political correctness. This is about political intelligence. And the face of the enemy is the ignorance that blinds many to the ideals and foundation that formed our great nation and allowed our immigrant forefathers to come and thrive in this great experiment. That's why we need experts and not profiteering hate mongers to speak on these vital issues. We want to applaud Senator Parker and those senators who supported his letter for standing up for what is just and denouncing hate rhetoric, and those who profit from it, not only for Muslims and immigrants, but indeed for all New Yorkers. and Senator Marty Golden for ensuring that the voices of communities being unfairly targeted will be allowed to speak and defend themselves in the hearings. The Department of Justice recently stated that though American Muslims comprise of roughly 1% of the U.S. population, discrimination crimes against Muslims totaled approximately 14% last year. Almost a 1,400% pro rata increase. These Greg Ball hearings, Peter King's hearings, which many perceive were simply an attack on Islam and American Muslims, Quran and mosque burnings, and general misinformations have caused an Islamophobic hysteria throughout our nation. And on Saturday, April 9th, at noon in Union Square in New York City, over 500 U.S. organizations of all persuasions will take part in a rally to denounce Islamophobia, terrorism, and war. We hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ziad Ramadan. And just to mention that a lot of elected officials are supporting this, even if they can't be here today. Councilman Charles Barron, I don't think is with us. We also have support from Councilman Daniel Drum, who has an immigration committee meeting right now, unfortunately, but he's with us in spirit. And we also heard very strong support. We'll be getting a statement from Borough President Scott Stringer, who's been so active on immigration reform issues. So we know that there are many with us, and we now have State Senator Espilat.
Good afternoon. I come here not only as a senator, but as an immigrant. I am very concerned that what should be a very legitimate and serious discussion around homeland security and our preparedness level turns into an anti-immigrant circus. I took a look at the list of panelists, the speakers that will be testifying in the hearing, and it included folks that will be speaking about driver's licenses. What does a driver's license for undocumented have to do with preparedness? So I am concerned that this hearing, which should be a legitimate issue for all New Yorkers, will allow the opportunity for the extreme voices in this discourse, in this debate, to take hold of the discussion. It would allow the radicals in this debate to take hold of the discussion. And that's not what we want to see. We want to hear from the experts that speak about homeland security, and we don't want this to turn into an anti-immigrant circus. So that's why I'm here today, standing next to the advocates and some good government groups in advocating that a real discussion should go forward about preparedness and homeland security, but it should not be an avenue that allows the radical voices of this country to take hold of this debate. Thank you.